Okay, let's dive into something that honestly could really shift things for a restaurant's success. Think about it, the restaurant world is incredibly competitive, right? Owners often feel like they're just reacting, rising rents, unpredictable costs, changing tastes. It's a lot. It feels like so much is outside of their control. But what if there's this crucial element, maybe overlooked, that they can directly influence? Something to really boost profitability.
Well, this deep dive is all about that unsung hero, the food cost percentage.
Exactly. And what's really key here, drawing from our source, Mike Sade Wet, is just how fundamental this is. He makes a great point. In the restaurant business today, food cost percentage is one of the few truly controllable factors left.
That's a big statement.
Uh,
Controllable.
yeah, unlike rent or utilities, which are often fixed or externally driven, food cost is something you shape every single day. It's about your portions, how you manage waste, even your supplier negotiations. It's the lever right there in your kitchen. Right, the most powerful one you have internally, maybe. And Mike Sad also points out something interesting. It's not as complicated as people think. It seems many struggle with it, find it daunting. But he argues it's actually pretty straightforward to calculate and, importantly, to manage.
Absolutely. It's surprising how accessible it is. And understanding it lets you make genuinely informed decisions, helps you stay ahead.
So it's not just a number for the accountant then.
No, not at all. It's a vital key performance indicator, a KPI. It tells you exactly how much you're spending on ingredients for every dollar you bring in from selling the food. Think about it. This number helps with everything from setting menu prices correctly to figuring out which dishes are actually profitable to, minimizing spoilage.
Okay, so if a popular dish suddenly shows a higher food cost.
That's your signal. Time to look at maybe your supplier costs or perhaps portion sizes has crept up. It gives you that immediate flag.
It seems wild that some owners might miss this, or maybe delay looking at it. Mike Syed mentions waiting weeks for an accountant's report.
Well, by then it's often too late, right? You can't react effectively.
Yeah.
You need those numbers frequently, efficiently.
Okay, so if it's that crucial and maybe simpler than we think, how do you actually do it? Let's start with a single dish.
Right, the per item calculation is super simple. You just take the total cost of all the ingredients in that specific dish.
Okay, like the cost of the chicken, the sauce, the garnish,
Everything.
everything. Add that up. Then you divide that total cost by the price you sell the dish for.
Got it. Cost divided by selling price.
Then multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So, his example, if a dish costs, say, R50 in ingredients,
50 Rand.
and you sell it for R200, your food cost for that specific item is 25%. Simple as that.
25%. Okay, that gives you real clarity on each menu item. Turns the menu into more of a strategic tool, doesn't it?
Precisely. But you also need the bigger picture, right? The whole month.
Yeah, how does that work? How do you figure out the overall monthly food cost percentage?
So for the month, you basically add up the cost of all the food you bought during that period. All your invoices, deliveries.
Yep. Total cost of food purchased. Then you divide that by your total revenue from food sales for the same month.
Okay. Total cost divided by total sales.
Again, multiply by 100. So if your total food cost for the month was, let's say, $420,000,
Okay.
and your food sales revenue was of $1,000, your monthly food cost percentage is 42%.
42%. Straightforward enough. But wait, what about inventory? The stock you start and end the month with, doesn't that change the actual cost of what you use?
Exactly. You've hit the crucial point. To get the true picture, you absolutely have to factor in inventory changes.
Right. How does that adjustment work?
Okay, so you start with the value of your opening stock, what you had on hand at the beginning of the month. To that, you add all the food purchases you made during the month.
Opening stock plus purchases.
Then you subtract the value of your closing stock, what's left on the shelves at the end of the month. That gives you your adjusted food cost or cost of goods sold for food.
Ah, so opening plus purchases closing, actual food cost used.
You got it. Let's use the example figures.
Mhm.
Say opening stock was $200,000, purchases were $300,000, and closing stock was $120,000. Your calculation is $200,000 plus $300,000, $120,000, which equals $380,000. That's your adjusted food cost.
$380,000.
Okay, now you take that $380,000 and divide it by your total food sales revenue for the month, which we said was $1,000,000, multiply by 100, and your true food cost percentage for the month is 38%. See the difference?
Yeah, 38% instead of 42%. That's a significant difference, showing what was actually consumed versus just purchased. That feels much more accurate for making decisions.
It is, and tracking this regularly, maybe even weekly, empowers owners to react fast. Spot trends, fix problems, control that cost.
So wrapping this up, what does this really mean for you listening? We've seen that getting a handle on food cost percentage, whether it's for one dish or the whole month, even accounting for stock, it isn't some mystical accounting task. It's actually, like Mike Side points out, a direct, accessible way to take control. It helps you price smart, cut down on waste, adapt quickly. Basically, it helps ensure you stay profitable and competitive.
It really does put the power back in the owner's hands.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe. If understanding and actively managing a controllable, like food cost, can have such a big impact on a restaurant's future. Where else in your own world, maybe your business or even personal life, might there be similar areas? Things that seem complex on the surface but are actually within your direct influence, just waiting for you to unpack them and take control.